Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
I don't know what it is, but I was talking with John, our engineer at GCN, just before the broadcast, and it sounded like I was talking to myself all of a sudden. And I was. I just got disconnected from the network. So we're broadcasting live via the plain old telephone service. POTS, as it used to be called back in the 1980s, POTS, plain old telephone service. Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Dr. Shealy, are you blissed?
I am blissed, especially after I saw the 2 bits of information this morning.
Tell me what you're talking about.
Well, your and your wife's calcium score, number 1.
Uh-huh.
And number 2, the results of the Sapphire.
But, where would you like to start? I'm all excited.
Well, if it's okay with you, I will tell them that you and your wife are among the healthiest people in the world, cardiac-wise at least.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy's cardiac score was 0. That means that 99% of people have a much higher calcium score than she does, of women.
Mm-hmm.
And your score was only 7.9, which is remarkably low for someone, mature. I mean, you ought to live 150 years just for that.
Well, I'm all excited. Dr. Shealy, what we're talking about, class, is my wife and I are participating in a study that Dr. Shealy is conducting. And the first step was to have a CAT scan and of our heart and to determine our calcium score. So we did that. We went to the local hospital for that, and the nurse said to my wife, your heart's better than his.
Well, they're both remarkably good.
Well, that's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, so
I'm all excited.
It's either genes or lifestyle or both. And of course.
Okay. All right. And the other thing you were talking about was the study, the other study that.
Right. Now it's really interesting, Vince. Let's clue people in who don't know what we're doing. I have been for the last 6 months working with crushed sapphire crystal. Now, you have to understand why I'm working with crushed sapphire. Many, many different kinds of crystal, especially all of the quartz family, will have piezoelectric effects. That means that the crystal itself can receive, store, and transmit electromagnetic energy. I did a study with quartz crystal back in 1988-89 with 200 people with preventing recurrent depression. And those who got quartz, we found 70% remained out of depression, whereas those who got glass, only 28% stayed out of depression. I mean, that is statistically significant at the 0.001, which means significant as hell in science. Well, theoretically, sapphire, blue sapphire, has a higher or stronger piezoelectric effect than quartz. So I've been using crushed sapphire, which increases the surface area of the stone, in a pouch worn over my chest, with the idea that I'm exploring, and this we have not answered yet, whether that can properly imprint it, if you will, reverse coronary artery atherosclerosis, Now, you are not a candidate for that unless you want to really go for zero, which you almost certainly could achieve within a year. But we did it first at the meetup 2 weeks ago with the idea that we're looking at just reducing stress, the symptoms of stress. And the major symptoms of stress that everybody will know are emotional things, that is, depression or anxiety. But there are 4 pages of symptoms which go to every organ in the body. So we did, we wound up with 2 people that I excluded because they just didn't have enough symptoms to measure. But of the 10 people who got crushed sapphire, the average symptom, total body symptom they had, was 33.5 when we started. Now, I got to tell you that anything above 20 means you are having a great deal of stress reaction. After 1 week, the total symptoms were down to 13.8, which is a 62% decrease. That's better than any drug in the world, practically. Then we looked only at the mood symptoms, that is, anxiety and depression. Well, interestingly, the group initially who got the sapphire had 42 depression, anxiety symptoms, and after 1 week it was down to 2.7, a 93% decrease. Now, the placebo people, and they didn't know, and actually I purposefully disguised to a great extent what I was doing, because as you notice, I had to feel some of them to be sure which one they got. Mm-hmm. The total symptoms in that group were 23.5, which anything above 20 is a lot of stress. After 1 week, 11.6, a 50% decrease, almost as good, and well better than average placebo. Interestingly, with emotional symptoms, the placebo group had only 7.9 initially and 3.9 afterwards, again a 50% decrease. So the huge difference was in depression and anxiety. I mean, a 93% decrease. That is almost unreal.
Dr. Shealy, would you say that this group is typical of what you might find elsewhere if you were to just, go into a mall and get...
I suspect that it's pretty typical, and yet I also suspect that because this group knows me, they've known me for several years, they probably are somewhat more positively reacting to the fact that I'm doing something with them, and that's why they had a higher placebo effect than average. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In other words, if you're doing a study with friends, you're going to get a better result than if you do it with strangers. But as far as total symptoms are concerned, and especially total mood symptoms, I would say it's pretty average.
The group is it's a wonderful group of people who are caring of each other, willing to help each other, and I hope that this is something that can be expanded across the country. I think we need to have more people who are concerned, caring, loving, compassionate toward each other for real. And I want to share something about, just kind of to describe who this group is. There are a couple twins who come to the meeting and have been there for many, many years, and they bring goodies. When they have something in their garden that they want to share, they'll bring it. Well, on Monday, they brought a whole bunch of buckets of cuttings of elderberry, and they just said, if you'd like them, just come on out in the parking lot and help yourself. And that's such a nice thing. I mean, it's instead of don't know, if you're trimming and just throwing them away, bring them to the meetup and make sure that you share and other people can use them. Teach us how to plant them and how to use them. And it was just kind of nice. It really was. So that's just one of the little pieces of evidence of who we are and what we do. And Dr. Shealy comes and teaches us about medicine and health. And I believe that, if you looked at the meetup group years ago when we first started, I believe we're all more healthy than we were. And another thing that I can say about the meetup group, because of the instruction, one of our instructors, Morgan, he's a senior guy. He came up to me, gave me a great big hug at the meetup, and he told me that he understands that I need to do what I need to do, to take care of my family and the farm, and that I can't be there all the time at the meetup. And he just wanted to tell me that he understood. And that was so kind of him. And his health is greatly, greatly improved. And Dr. Shealy, he's been taking diatomaceous earth every day, more than anyone else has taken it, and he looks great, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And, really, nothing is more important than your mood, your attitude. That determines your habits, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
And it determines, how well you're going to survive the usual problems that people have in our highly stressed society.
And since you mentioned the highly stressed society, you and I were having dinner, and class, Jimmy's Egg, where we have the meetup, is a restaurant, and at 2 o'clock they shut down every day for their regular walk-in customers and their regular customers. But on Mondays they reopen at 4:45. They clean the restaurant. They open just for us, just for USA Prepares. And Dr. Shealy, there are booths and there are tables, and so Dr. Shealy and Mrs. Finelli and I sat at a table with Rose, Dr. Shealy's assistant, and we had a chance to, Dr. Shealy and I had a chance to chat a little bit, and I mentioned to him that it seems that cancer is really on the uptick, and we were talking about some people who we know who have either symptoms of cancer or the possibility of cancer. And when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about that and what we're noticing. And cancer seems to be on the up. And why is that? Dr. Norm Shealy is with us. NormShealy.com, NormShealy.com. I'm Vince Finelli. This is USA Prepared.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Serious investors and traders want to make 81% return in 60 seconds? Use the same secret algorithm professional hedge fund managers use to make billions of dollars of profits. Turn $250 into $4,903 in just 7 clicks of a mouse. Our tool is so simple that my 82-year-old grandmother can use it to make insane stock market profits. Go to BigBuckRiches.com. Watch the free video before the hedge funds make us take it down. Go to BigBuckRiches.com. From the Robert Allen System, current returns not indicative of future results.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Class, Dr. Shealy's with us. Dr. Shealy, when you and I were at Jimmy's Egg on Monday, we had a chance to, you and Mrs. Finelli and Rose and I had a chance to chat during the meetup. And we were talking about the increased incidence of cancer. And cancer seems to be attacking people we know. And, I'm wondering, is it because we're getting a little older and or more in tune to it, or is there more cancer? I think there's more cancer. What do you think? Did I lose Norm Shealy?
In Miami Beach, of all places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. The entire East Coast now, from New York to the tip of Florida practically, has leaking radioactivity. I mean, that's just a small part of the serious human contamination of the earth. There are 550,000 chemical poisons being released into the atmosphere every year, which means they get in the water, they get into the dirt, they get in everything. I'm amazed that any of us remain alive. I mean, it's hard to avoid. One report last year showed that 65% of rain contained Roundup.
I'm looking at a post on the internet, and it's from CBS News. So this is mainstream. And the article was posted June 21, 2011, years ago. Radioactive leaks found at 75% of U.S. nuke sites.
Wow.
And that's what it says. Mm-hmm. So it says, this article says that radioactive tritium has leaked from 3/4 of U.S. commercial nuclear power sites, often into groundwater from corroded, buried piping. An Associated Press investigation shows. And I'll post this on the website, USA Prepares. It says the number and severity of leaks has been escalating, even as federal regulators extend the licenses of more and more reactors across the nation. Tritium, which is a radioactive form of hydrogen, has leaked from at least 48 of 65 sites, according to U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission records, reviewed as part of Associated Press's year-long examination of safety issues at aging nuclear power plants. Leaks from at least 37 of those facilities contained concentrations exceeding federal drinking water standard, sometimes at hundreds of times the limit. Now, it's hard for me to believe that radiation is good for us, Dr. Shealy, you and me and our class.
Yes, I have thought for 60 years at least that it is by far the most dangerous thing that humanity has created. I think that it's insane because there's no way of controlling. Now, I just looked up the incidence of cancer. Sit down. The incidence, now this is actually as of 2012, the incidence is 454.8 per 100,000 men and women. And what that means, that's 4.5% of people every year getting cancer. Now, what does that mean? It means theoretically within 25 years, everybody in the country should have cancer. I mean, that's how serious it is. If you live to be 100, you've got a 45-time chance of developing cancer.
And we look at our government. We used to look at our government as the watchdog, the protector of our food supply, of our water supply, of our air supply. We'd look at the EPA, and I remember when the EPA came down on a friend of mine. He had a store in Virginia, and his parking lot was such that you would turn off this 2-lane highway, one lane in each direction. You turn off and pull into his parking lot, and there were those concrete little stops to make sure he didn't drive through the front of his store, and he would just park head on into the parking lot. And there was a line of these parking spaces, and the EPA came down on him because they said, look, all of these drips of oil in your parking lot, they're all in the same spot. Each parking space has drips of oil. You're going to have to rip out this parking lot, and we're going to have to treat this, and we'll have to put in a new parking lot. At the same time, we're building
Hunters,
reactors.
anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Hi there. Are you an unhappy timeshare owner? Have you ever asked yourself, how can I get rid of my timeshare? Does your story go something like Stacy's story goes? Here's Stacy now.
My husband and I went and visited a resort, and they kind of attacked us, and they kept sending more and more people, and so we finally said yes, and we bought this timeshare, and then we were stuck in this timeshare that we couldn't get rid of, and we tried all different ways. They made it seem like it was this really great deal, and when we said no originally, then they brought the price down, and then when we still said no, they brought in the manager, and they brought the price down even lower, and they started breaking out in different ways to make it look like it was this really awesome deal. The reality was it wasn't an awesome deal at all.
To cancel your timeshare contract, call ACC today. It's an attorney-based program with a free consultation. The first 20 callers get a 20% discount. Call now, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948. Call today, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Dr. Shealy, when I was growing up, I've mentioned this in the past, but I think it bears mentioning again. When I was growing up in the 1950s, and my mom and I would visit my grandmother, and my grandmother would say, "Don't go over to that house because they have cancer." And it was the plague. It was rare. It was like leprosy back then. It was so unusual to know someone who had cancer or in the family. Today, it appears that cancer is in every family, Dr. Shealy. My wife was talking with some of her family, and they have spots on their lungs. Since the last time my wife talked to them, this is, it's almost like it's normal now. And when I was in Springfield, Missouri on Monday, I was driving past the Cox Medical building complex, and there's this huge multi-story building, and it's the cancer center. And it's not just, there are multiple cancer centers. These are brand new buildings that have just been built with parking garages to, stacking cars, because the number of people going in and out of these buildings is incredible. They're planning for the future, like an epidemic of cancer, Dr. Shealy. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, actually, statistically speaking, if it does not increase further, and you live to be 100 years, you've got a 45% chance of developing cancer at the present time. It's almost 50%. It is the third leading cause of death today. So, what are the causes? Well, I would put up at the top of my list radioactivity. There's been more radioactivity released on the Earth in the last 60 years than in the previous 5 billion years. I would put second, toxic chemicals like Roundup. Third, I would put what I call artificial foods. And I would then put tobacco there still because 22% of adults still smoke. And then right after that, I would put depression. And right after that, I would put anger. And after that, I would put guilt. And right after that, I would put anxiety. I mean, to me, those are the causes of cancer. Now,
Dr. Shealy, when you said anger, it reminded me of a post I was reading last night that so many Americans are absolutely angry at our government. It's like 60+% are angry. So if 60% are angry at our government, that's 60% of the people who are, they're angry. And that is a cause of death, according to what I believe you just said.
well,
contributing cause.
Was a wonderful, one of those rare, wonderful psychiatrists in the 1% or less. He worked at Denmark Hill Hospital in London for much of his adult life. He had a colleague in Heidelberg, Germany, 40 years ago, began studying people's personality and what killed them. So they evaluated 13,000 plus people who were healthy when they started. And they were all adults. So let's say they were 30 to 50 or so when they started. And they just watched what happened death-wise in the next 20 years. 75% of the people who died of cancer had lifelong depression, 15% lifelong anger, and 9% both anger and depression. 75% of the people who died of heart disease had lifelong anger, 15% depression, 9% both. In other words, 0.2% of the people who died of cancer or heart disease had lifelong problems with anger, depression, or both. I've often said you cannot afford the luxury of anger. Now, it is appropriate to be angry at stuff you can change. It is not appropriate to stay angry when you cannot change it. This is a hopeful time where anger can be very useful if we can get rid of the bastards in public office. In my opinion, that would be approximately 98 to 99% of everyone who holds a political office. They should be kicked out of office once and never allowed back in again. Nobody should be allowed a political career. Shouldn't be possible. You've had a political office, okay, you're no longer eligible to run for any office, period.
There's a meeting that was held off the coast of Georgia in the last couple of days where some captains of the political party, the Republicans, and some members of captains of industry and captains of technology met to decide what they're going to do to sink Trump's chances of becoming president. They are in a panic because they're worried that he will become president, and he's not one of them. He's not one of the establishment. And one of the reasons that so many Americans are angry is because they want Donald Trump to be president because he's not one of them. They look at Donald Trump as the guy who doesn't take direction very well. He does what he thinks is right, and he is not, they can't buy him. So many of us would like to see Donald Trump, as we think that he's our last, greatest, best hope to fix this country. And the people who are in power now are in fear that they're all going to get thrown out. Either if they are appointed, they may lose their jobs. As a matter of fact, it'd be wonderful if he cleaned house. So I was talking with Mrs. Finelli about this morning, and we are elected representatives of the Republican crime syndicate, and I've been calling it a crime syndicate for a long time on the air, and I believe it is. I want nothing to do with Republicans. I mean, they have shown their colors, that they are willing to throw overboard the will of the villagers to keep the status quo, keep the establishment the way it is, as corrupt as it is. It's an outrage, Dr. Shealy. And when you talk about anger, and anger being something that it's appropriate if we can change it, I'd like to share a very brief story with you about how I dealt with that. And I don't know if it was anger, but it was a situation that I could change. It was a miserable situation. So many, many years ago, back in the 1980s, I had a job. And I had a really nice title. I mean, if you looked at my business card, it would be something that a person could be proud of. However, I had a boss who was very, very difficult to deal with. As a matter of fact, he had an alcohol addiction problem. And he was not on an even keel. He never knew what was going to happen. He never knew when there'd be a flare-up. And I seemed to be the target of a lot of those flare-ups. At least that's how I remember it. And I would be told, Monday morning to go and do a certain thing, and he'd tell me when to stop, and I'd be doing it, and then I'd get beat up for doing it, a couple days later. And, of course, back then I was trapped. I had a mortgage, I had a wife, I had a house. We didn't have car payments, but the only payment we had was a mortgage on our house. And so what I did was back then I was watching television as many for the news, and there was this commercial on how to buy real estate, no money down, and become financially independent. And so there was a seminar that weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and it was $500. And so I decided I was going to go because there was a money-back guarantee. If you didn't like it by noon of Saturday, you could get your money back. And I thought, well, how can I lose? Well, I was so fascinated, Dr. Shealy, that I stayed for the entire weekend, bought $100 worth of books, and now I was into it for $500 plus $100 or $600, which back then was a lot of money to me and my wife. And I realized that I actually could do this. I could quit my job, but I needed my job so that I could get loans so that I could buy real estate. So what I did was I bought an apartment building, and then I realized I bought the wrong one, so I bought another one. Then I realized that wasn't the right one either, so I bought another one. So within the first month, I bought 3 apartment buildings, and I structured them so that none of the banks knew that the other banks would be lending us money, and I spent $250,000, way, way more than I could pay back. And I did that, and ended up with 3 apartment buildings. And now the banks were my friend because they didn't want me to fail because I borrowed a lot of money from them. And so I was able to buy a building per month. And I did this for almost a year. So I kept buying buildings, rehabbing them at night, putting in kitchens and ripping out sheetrock and plumbing. And I got to the point where I had a cash flow that would sustain the mortgage payments and everything was good. And I could quit my job if I wanted to. But instead of doing that, I went to my boss's boss, and I said, I really like this company. I'd love to stay with the company, but I'd rather not work for this guy. That's my current boss. I'd like to work for this other guy. And my boss said, well, if he'll have you, good. We'll do it. So I got a new boss. I asked for a new boss. And why? Because I had the ability financially to sustain being thrown out. I could have been fired and it would have been okay. It wouldn't have been great, but it would have been okay. And my the amount of courage that I was able to gain from having this financial independence. Now, I'm not talking about being wealthy. I'm just talking about I could make it work. I could survive because of my newfound financial independence. It worked. I had the courage to do it. And it got better and better and better. So what I'm saying, class, is you probably can change this situation. So if you're in one of these situations where maybe you have this anger that Dr. Shealy says, it's okay to be angry if you can change it. Well, I was in a situation where I made a huge change. And it worked.
I want to talk about that afterwards.
We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
This is an important message to all listeners. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, the tax pros at OIC Tax want to help you. OIC Tax is dedicated to helping taxpayers just like you with their IRS problems.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS. I was working long hours and weekends just to make ends meet. To make matters worse, the IRS was about to garnish my wages, and I needed to file several years of back tax returns. Then I called the tax professionals at OIC Tax. They stopped the IRS from garnishing my wages. They even placed my account into the IRS's financial hardship program, so I don't have to make any payments to the IRS. That's right, no payments to the IRS while I'm in this program.
Call OIC Tax today to see if you qualify for the IRS's hardship program. Call 800-272-9128. Call now and mention you heard this radio commercial and receive 10% off their already low fees. 800-272-9128. That number, 800-272-9128. Call now, 800-272-9128.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Class, I was telling a story about me and the 1980s when I was in a situation, I would, as I was leaving for work in the morning, as all the men in the neighborhood did, I'd leave for work and I'd grab the door jambs on the way out of the front door. And I go, don't make me go to work. Don't make me, I'd be kidding my wife, like, oh boy, it's going to be horrible. Don't make me go to work. And I'd grab the door jambs and I'd have my arms stretched out, kind of acting. And my wife would just shove me out the door and say, have a nice day. It's like, good, get to work. And, but Dr. Shealy, what we did was we did what everyone else did. We had a mortgage just like everybody else, or almost everybody else when we were younger. And, the bank lent us probably pretty close to the maximum amount that we would be able to borrow. And then I borrowed $1 million more, literally $1 million more, and bought houses and apartments. I was literally, I was thinking our combined salaries back then might have been $50,000. So we borrowed 20 times what our salaries were. It's kind of unheard of, right? Borrowing that much money. But it worked. It worked, and we repaid it all, and we didn't default or any of that stuff. So, and you wanted to comment on this?
Well, I think you and I may have discussed this once upon a time, but basically, from age 16 on, I planned not only to be a neurosurgeon, but a professor of neurosurgery. And in my residency program in neurosurgery at Mass General Hospital, the second man in the department was one of the great, most evil people I've ever met in my life, doing research on patients without any informed consent. And then I went on the faculty at Western Reserve Medical School for 3.5 years, and the chairman was an alcoholic. Much the same kind of nonsense that you were describing about your former boss. And after 3.5 years of putting up with him, I decided to leave academic medicine because I'd met too many others in his type of position that I didn't like. And I didn't want to spend the rest of my life working with that kind of idiot. So basically, instead of remaining frustrated and angry at it, I made a massive change in direction for which I've never been regretful.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't regretted a moment of it either. And it wasn't like it was easy. It wasn't like I went from working to going on vacation. I went from working in a situation that was very stressful, if you will, because I never knew what was going to happen, and I was not in control of anything other than, I could have quit. But that's the kind of thing that I just didn't do. I just didn't quit. Even when I had a course that was really difficult, and I found, at the university, other students would say, well, this is really tough. My GPA, grade point average, is going to go down if I stay in this course or class, and they would just jump out. And, they were manipulating their grades, and I would just stick it out. Quitting wasn't an option for me. But what I did want to do is plan a strategy to make things better. And that is literally what I did and what you did. So the whole point, I guess, of this discussion is that, if you feel that you're trapped, there probably is a way out of it, and that's not jumping off the bridge. There is a way that you can plan, use the, what would you call them? The attributes, the positive attributes of being where you are to your best advantage, and make your strategy viable and leave. And that's what I did. I literally did that. And all it really did, Dr. Shealy, for me, was it gave, by being financially independent, and again, I'm not saying wealthy. All I mean is, at that point, I was able to cover my bills without a job, without going to the bank for work. The real estate was covering the costs, should it need to. And it just gave me the courage, by knowing that I wouldn't lose the house and all that goes with that. It gave me the courage to ask my boss's boss for a different boss. And everything got better once that happened. Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back. I'd like to chat with you, Dr. Shealy, about lithium orotate, selenium for the treatment of cancer and other diseases. And you talked about a chordotomy. I believe I'm saying that close to correctly, and cooking bacon in water. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hey, I rode the elevator with you, but I don't work on the upper floors. I just want to squeeze in there right next to you, so the RFID scanner in my pocket can capture all your personal information, your debit and credit cards, even your work ID badge. So your identity is now my identity. Going up, so am I.
For over 10 years, ID Stronghold has pioneered RFID blocking wallets and ID badge holders for consumers, the U.S. military, and even the Executive Office of the President. Shouldn't you be protected too? ID Stronghold wallets cost about the same as wallets in most stores, but give you extra protection.
I'm Wal Augustinowicz, founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. Don't be a victim of electronic pickpocketing. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses.
Visit idstronghold.com and get the original RFID blocking wallets and badge holders. idstronghold.com. Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Dr. Norman Shealy. NormShealy.com. NormShealy.com. Dr. Shealy, I was talking with Joey in Michigan this morning. I get a chance to talk with him most mornings before the broadcast. And we were talking about selenium. And there's, looks like there's couple different types. One type of selenium by a company, it's called OPTI, Opti-Cell, OPTI-SEL, 200 micrograms of selenium, 100 tablets, $7.40, and it says that the tablets contain 150 micrograms from sodium selenate, 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 and 50 micrograms from seleno, SELENO, hyphen methionine, METHIONINE. Is there a difference in the type of selenium tablets that we might want to consume?
I don't think so, Vince. In general, a mineral is pretty well absorbed, and we're only, looking at 100 to 200 micrograms of selenium.
Mm-hmm.
I usually, in general, minerals are better when they're chelated. That means chemically bound to an amino acid. So the methionine using the sulfur molecule, amino acid methionine, would actually be quite good, especially.
Okay, so you like that one.
Well, I would particularly like that one, but I think the other's probably okay, too.
Okay. And Dr. Shealy, when we plant our gardens, should we add any particular minerals to them so that the plants uptake those specific minerals to help us, the minerals that we may not be thinking about? Any thoughts on that?
Well, to me, the evidence is overwhelming that compost of almost, any normal, if you will, healthy compost is ideal because the soil and the plants will be better able to incorporate them if the stuff is not just pure chemicals. In other words, for 40 plus years, I've lived on a farm where we have lots of horses, and horse manure composted is one of the best. But chicken manure, cow manure, manure, I wouldn't use human as China does, but because of viruses and other things. But you compost at least a year old. You just put your manure in a pile and add to that all the junk weeds and stuff that you take out of your garden and let it rot together, and then a year later it is great for the soil. So I, in general, do not add any other chemicals to my garden. But then my garden has been, the current garden is 44 and a half years old, and I don't till it either, by the way. I tilled it the year we moved in, and then every fall I add about an inch of compost to each row and cover it with hay over the winter, and then I pull it aside to plant in the spring, so I never have to till.
So your soil is soft when you pull off the covering, right?
Yeah. It's, and it's, we can have 10 inches of rain, which we did in December, and it doesn't get waterlogged because the drainage is that good because of all the compost that's been put over for over 40 years.
Okay. Now, do you think that there's a reason to take selenium for the treatment of cancer? Is there a benefit to taking selenium?
Well, that's one of many, many things that I think are benefits for dealing with cancer, Vince. Again, I would not take more than 200 micrograms a day. You're not going to get into any excess or toxic relationships as long as you don't exceed 200 micrograms a day. Now, many, many multivitamins have in them at least 100 micrograms usually of selenium. So as an additive, if you're already taking a multivitamin, you're not using else. But in my opinion, what you need most is things called antioxidants. And the average person is low in antioxidants. And antioxidants are known to be excellent for all kinds of problems, but certainly to prevent and help treat cancer. Now, my favorite antioxidant in huge doses is vitamin C. I have, for many, many years, given people with cancer 100 grams of vitamin C IV daily for up to a couple of weeks or even a month. That is 5 days a week at least, not usually on the weekend. Now, that has to be balanced with certain vitamins and some calcium and magnesium, but 100 grams of vitamin C is a powerful anti-cancer treatment. Unfortunately, your blank FDA has made it almost impossible for a physician outside a hospital to get the stuff and have it available to use.
Wow. And it sounds very inexpensive, Dr. Shealy.
Well, it is. I mean, compared to cancer drugs, personally, I would rather die than be poisoned. And so personally, there's no way that I would take chemotherapy, of any cancer chemotherapy. That's just me. I'm perfectly happy to work with people who want to add the alternative to their chemotherapy, but I would never personally be able to prescribe them for someone or take them for myself. But the other thing, in addition to vitamin C, remember there's vitamin E, and again, that's Kyani Sunset is the best form of it. And there's vitamin A, and the best form of that is astaxanthin. Those are what I call the basic vitamin antioxidants. But there are all kinds of other things, polyphenols and terpenes and a whole variety, anthocyanins. And those you get from fruits and vegetables. And you really can't get adequate amounts of these other anthocyanins, quinones, etc., from tablets or pills or IV even. You need to eat vegetables and fruits.
And Dr. Shealy, as we were talking about cancer increasing, I believe the American diet is decreasing in fruits and vegetables.
Well, of course it is. The average American consumes 2.2 servings a day.
I was thinking that's a lot.
I'm sorry?
I was thinking 2.2 servings of fruits and vegetables for an American would be a lot in today's.
Well, now that supposedly is average.
Yeah, I understand,
remember
but
that French fries and ketchup are not vegetables or fruit.
well, according to the cafeteria, the school lunch program, ketchup, I believe they consider a vegetable.
Well, they are beyond ignorant. They are stupid and evil, in my opinion, if they call it that.
And when I talk about ketchup, I'm talking about a packet of ketchup. I'm not talking about...
Not even a serving. I mean, a serving would be 4 ounces, by the way.
Right.
Now, I suspect that one of the reasons you and Sandy have such delightfully low, to 0 in her case, calcium scores is that your diet. My suspicion is you exceed 5 servings a day of fruits and vegetables, as I do.
I thought it was because I go around in circles on a tractor and chase cows and things. But isn't exercise part of that, Dr. Shealy? Because literally everywhere I go, on the farm, I do a lot of walking. I wear most of the time heavy boots. So there's I'm exercising by lifestyle.
Right. Well, that's the way I think life was meant to be. Now, basically, I do not have a lifestyle that allows me the privilege, if you will, of doing that much walking a day. I've chosen to spend more time at a computer and stuff like that. However, I start every day with 90 minutes of physical exercise.
Dr. Shealy, would you mind sharing the number of years that you've had experience on this earth with our class today, for those who may not know?
83 years and 3+ months.
Mm-hmm. And you speak, you teach, you're on the radio, you farm, and you write books, you broadcast. You're a busy guy.
Well, I am busy, but I go to bed at 9 o'clock and get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and I do my 90 minutes of exercise before I begin my day, and my breakfast consists of a minimum of 4 servings of fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I start the day. Most days it's actually closer to 5. And so if I get another 3 or 4 fruits and vegetables as the day goes on, I'm up to 8 to as many as 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day.
Are you comfortable with bananas that are not organic, Dr. Shealy, or...
Yeah, I am, because, the main reason I don't trust what they say in any store to proves to me it's organic.
I agree. Okay, when we come back, Dr. Shealy, may we talk about lithium orotate and the dosage that we should take to improve our memory, as well as lecithin and lithium orotate, memory improvement, and Alzheimer's. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
If you want to raise the next generation of Patriot leaders, take a look at Freedom Project Academy, a Judeo-Christian online school for kindergarten through high school. No Common Core teaching methods or high-stakes testing. Freedom Project Academy is government-free, doesn't accept any government funding, and is a fully accredited private school. All classes are taught live online with real teachers across the country. Open enrollment runs March through July, but classes fill up quickly. Check them out at fpeusa.org. That's fpeusa.org.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, just want to let you know that the Pentagon, according to USA Today, admits that it has deployed military spy drones over the United States. And how much do these spy drones cost? Well, let me tell you just a little bit about it, just for a couple seconds. There's the one called the Predator. It's 27 feet long, weighs 1,130 pounds empty, wingspan's 55 feet. It takes two to operate it, a a remote pilot, and a remote sensor operator. They cost $20 million a piece. Then they've got another one called the Reaper. It's 36 feet long, wingspan 66 feet. Remote pilot and sensor operator. They cost $56.5 million a piece. And they're flying them over the United States. Just want to let you know. Personally, I would feel really threatened if one of those things was flying over my house. Just a little side journey on something I saw on the internet during the break. It's very disconcerting. Lithium orotate, Dr. Shealy. It's been reported that it can help with memory. It can aid in reducing some of the effects of Alzheimer's. What do you think about lithium orotate? O-R-O-T-A-T-E.
Well, I not only think it's one of the greatest adjuncts we have, but I have personally been on it for at least 40 years. And one of the reasons is unequivocally that you need lithium in order to make one of the most important neurochemicals, serotonin. Serotonin is what I call the bright-eyed, bushy-tail wake-up neurohormone in the morning. And if you do not wake up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and, wanting to have a great day, the chances are you're low in lithium and in serotonin. You don't need a huge amount. You need a trace amount. And the trace in this case is in an adult anywhere from 15 to 20 milligrams of lithium orotate a day. For a child as early as 5 years of age, I recommend 5 milligrams a day. I've used it in scores of children with ADHD, hyperactivity, etc. It is wonderful and extremely safe, by the way. Now, there are drugs of lithium carbonate, lithium citrate. Those are not healthy. There you have to worry significantly about your kidney safety function because they can damage kidneys. But they're using 900 to 1,200 milligrams a day of that nonsense. And so for the average person as an adult, 15 or 20 milligrams a day is totally safe and useful. It not only helps memory, but it helps mood, and it helps the whole brain because it prevents some of the chemical and emotional traumas from taking hold, so to speak.
Okay. I'm looking at Swanson vitamins. I just happened to type in lithium orotate on a browser, and it came up with one, and it says 120 milligrams. Now, that's many times more than you're recommending.
I would consider that unwise. That's be kind.
Okay. All right, so
the largest dose I've ever recommended in an adult with severe, bipolar, manic depressive disease is 45 milligrams a day.
Okay, so if they're tablets, get one of those tablets. If the person already has these and they're 120 milligrams, get one of those tablet cutters and cut it into.
Well, I wouldn't even get 5. It. I wouldn't take a chance.
Okay, very good. All right, and I had a question about bacon. And I mentioned to you on the air weeks ago that my dad taught chemistry and he taught physics, and he talked about water being the universal solvent. And what he recommended when I was growing up was if you're going to have bacon, and we didn't have very often, boil it in water to release the sodium nitrite and nitrate into the water, and then discard the water, and then do that again. So boil it twice, and then pan fry it. And have you tried that, Dr. Shealy?
I haven't gotten around to it since I heard you talk about it about a week ago. But I will, because it's a great idea.
Yeah, let me know what, after you've tried that. Class, it will change the flavor. It won't be anywhere near as salty. You will be absolutely shocked at the difference. And once you try it, once you try it, I think you'll really like it.
I'm going to try it today. I often don't have a real breakfast
So you've
until
got to take a
after the
state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Don't know what's in your drinking water? Better get a ProPure. With the Pro 1G 2.0 all-in-one filter, remove over 200 contaminants, including fluoride and lead. Taste water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure water filtration products. There's a ProPure system for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details on our current free shipping special or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com.
Do you or someone you know suffer from chest pain, blood pressure, cholesterol, or irregular heartbeat? Are you looking for a more natural solution to overcome these health challenges? You hear the ads all the time. If this stuff's so good, why doesn't my doctor prescribe it? That's easy. There's more money in treating symptoms. Extendivite Heart Tonic does want you to be as healthy as you can be, and it really works. Take Extendivite for 6 months and your doctor will say, I don't know what you're doing, but don't stop, it's working for you. Get the dependability of Extendivite. Just see how you feel in 6 months. A 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid is only $69.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Hi there. Are you an unhappy timeshare owner? Have you ever asked yourself, how can I get rid of my timeshare? Does your story go something like Stacy's story goes? Here's Stacy now.
My husband and I went and visited a resort, and they kind of attacked us, and they kept sending more and more people until we finally said yes, and we bought this timeshare, and then we were stuck in this timeshare that we couldn't get rid of, and we tried all different ways. They made it seem like it was this really great deal, and when we said no originally, then they brought the price down, and then when we still said no, they brought in the manager, and they brought the price down even lower, and they started breaking it in different ways to make it look like it was this really awesome deal. The reality was it wasn't an awesome deal at all.
To cancel your timeshare contract, call ACC today. It's an attorney-based program with a free consultation. The first 20 callers get a 20% discount. Call now, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948. Call today, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, and if you'd like to go to his website, normshealy.com, and you might want to click on the Optimal Health section. Also, if you'd like to sign up for the free newsletter, the same one I get, normshealy.com, and he does not sell your email addresses. Dr. Shealy, I mentioned at the meetup I was a little frosted with this UMB financial credit card, and they had a problem with a name on my account, Anthony Soprano. And I had a credit card in the name of Anthony Soprano as well as my name. Class, by the way, I use my real name on the air. My name really is Vincent Finelli, but in order to separate purchases on things that I buy, I can use different names, different aliases, and I can categorize my purchases that way, and it helps with our accounting system. Well, UMB Financial took exception to that, and they were going to report me to the credit bureaus. Well, so I closed that account. But here's the cool thing. So I called Discover, and I've had a Discover card for 30 years. Okay? I called them yesterday, and I said, I'd like to add another name. And I explained the whole situation. I said that I was dealing with another bank, Visa, UMB, and they had a real problem and they wanted to report me. And I would like to add an alias. Full disclosure, I said I'd like to add an alias in the name of Anthony Soprano to my Discover card account. May I do that? And it took them a while to figure out how to do it. They met with a couple people there while I was on hold. And they did it. They did it. And so you can have aliases, okay? It's just UMB Financial has a problem with it. I don't want to spend a lot of time on UMB Financial. It's a company that I don't want to do business with. But in any event, it can be done. And just as I had done it, and it's above board. It really is. So Discover, you may want to take another look at Discover. And they have always been wonderful to work with. And we've been with them for 30 years. It's not a commercial. It's just the truth. Dr. Shealy, when we were at the meetup on Monday, you were talking about past life regression, and you said something that absolutely stunned me. You were talking about our founding fathers and their reaction to going for round 2, revolution number 2. Would you share that with us, please?
Well, yes. First of all, it's important to let people know what we're talking about. Walter Simcoe is a physician in San Francisco who wrote a book in 2005 called A Return of the Revolutionaries. It is the correlation of 400 people alive today who were also in a different body, of course, in a different time, in the time of the Revolutionary War. Among those who are reincarnated are Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, James Madison, Dolly Madison, a whole bunch of others, and me. I wasn't anybody that important. I was one of the signers of the Declaration, named Matthew Thornton, and from New Hampshire, by the way. Well, Walter, brought up all these things, and I read the book, and I thought, wow. Well, we've got all these people who were responsible for, getting the country going in the Revolutionary War. So I invited 39 of them to come to my farm here on a July 4th weekend in 2005. And so in walked Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and Dolly Madison and James Madison and a whole bunch of other nice people. And not one of them, not one, was even remotely interested in why I really wanted us to meet, which was to discuss how on earth do we stop the nonsense that has occurred. Actually the power of the Committee of 300, the cabal that runs the world, began just about the time of the Revolutionary War. And not one of them was even the least bit interested in having anything to do with politics or stopping the crud today. So it was the only meeting of the founding mystics that I gave up after that.
How disconcerting. Dr. Shealy, can you describe some of their professions right now? What they were doing, what they are doing?
Well, this is no secret, because it's in the book. Walter is a physician. He was John Adams. Thomas Jefferson is now Tom Hanson. He is a nice guy, has a PhD in mathematics, and writes ballads. But ballads are nice, but they aren't going to get us where we need to be politically. James Madison is now interested in, the history of the universe and the world, the Anunnaki, Nibiru, and that kind of thing. But again, even though I'm fascinated by that, it's not going to change the world. So it appears that we can't depend upon the reincarnated revolutionaries to do it for us this time.
Wow.
We need a new set of revolutionaries like you and me.
Well, I remember Dr. Shealy, part of the past life regression you did with me, and I was just a farmer, nothing special, and I did my part as I saw fit to disrupt the enemy of we the villagers, and as our villages were being attacked, we fought back and we used guerrilla tactics. At least the few that I was standing with or stood with me, however you want to look at it. But I was a nobody, just a thorn in the side or a burr under the saddle of the enemy, and maybe that's what I still am, just a little burr, just a little nuisance to them, and I feel that maybe that's the best use of my time. But it's really disappointing, Dr. Shealy, to hear that those who did such great work previously aren't interested. And I remember being in the dining room of our farmhouse, and Larry Pratt was here, and John Moore and Mike Ma, and we just had some people were in town, and we just had a little get together many years ago, and I said, just wondering, how many of you guys are armed right here at the dining room table? and there was a great percentage of us who were armed at our dining room table, which is kind of different from what you're saying. And I'm thinking, at your get-together in 2005, had you asked the question, so how many of you guys are, carrying guns right here?
I can tell you there were none.
Amazing. Wow. And these were the greats as we've been taught in our history classes, American history, right?
Yeah.
How sad. And Dr. Shealy, I said before on the air that I thought there was 5% of us, and then I thought, wow, it's kind of high, 3%, and then I thought that's kind of high, 1%. Now I really think that's only 1/10 of 1% of us. Literally, I mean, I hate to throw a wet blanket on this party, but I don't think there are all that many. I keep hearing people say, "Oh, there's more of us every day." Okay, there are more people that are angry, but what are they doing about it? And I like to think of our black friends who are protesting, and I applaud them for protesting. I wish they would be a little more maybe organized, a little more effective in where they're protesting, and go visit the homes of the people who are actually causing the problems rather than going downtown.
Right.
If there's going to be protests, and we're going to be marching, and the cops are going to be firing tear gas and rubber bullets and shotgun bean bags, and I mean those are killers. I mean you get hit in the eye with a rubber bullet, you'll be blind. If you get hit in the chest with a shotgun beanbag, That's a full load all together. It doesn't spread out. It, breaks some ribs. If you get hit in the testicles with a beanbag, you're not going to have children. So, there are, they say, less than lethal. Yeah, well, okay, sometimes it's less than lethal. Other times it's horrific. Well, those, the guys in the uniforms and the body armor and behind the shields, and they have tasers and they've got lasers and sound cannons and gas and all kinds of weapons, in addition to the automatic weapons and the handguns and the rest of it, and the handcuffs. Why would anybody be protesting downtown? Imagine when they come to your house, class, they come in force and they come to your house. So my question is, it's a statement. Think about it. If you're going to protest, think about where you're going to protest. I'll just stop right there. I'm not calling for violence, but I know it's going to happen. There's no question. It's happened over and over and over in history. And I just mentioned that, the Pentagon has admitted that they're flying drones. They're flying drones over America with the approval of Congress. And Dr. Shealy said it best. Throw these guys out. I'm paraphrasing, but we don't need these people representing our interests. They are not representing our interests. And the Republican Party?
Yeah, I'd like to see at least 98 or 99% of them kicked out forever and never allowed back in.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And anyone who votes for a lawyer, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Years ago, Dr. Shealy, I mentioned I was buying some real estate, and I noticed that there are two kinds of lawyers. There are deal breakers and there are deal makers. And the deal makers are the lawyers who just do the paperwork and kind of stay out of the way. A deal breaker is all the other kind of lawyers who get in the way and insert themselves and then charge both parties money, or cause problems for both parties, or charge one party money. The encoders and the decoders. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, a place for mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, libertyoncall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to libertyoncall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's libertyoncall.org.
Hey, Dr. Shealy. It's me on the phone. I just got knocked off the network again. I just made it in time. I'm listening to the commercials, and all of a sudden, nothing. And so here's a question I have for you. I got a call yesterday afternoon from Kyle Harris. He's a USA Preparedness instructor in Montana. He lives off the grid. And we were talking about tinctures, and we were talking about making our own tinctures. And are you experienced in the use of tinctures and making tinctures?
Oh, I know how to do it, but I have not done it.
Okay,
I prefer somebody else to do it for me.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation, or do we just put that all call out to the class today? If do you have someone that you know who's really good at making tinctures of all kinds, like detox and heart tinctures and so forth?
No, I honestly can't say that I do. I would go searching the internet and choose intuitively, I guess.
Well, let's put the call out to the class. So, class, if you are experienced in making tinctures and you'd like to give us a call, you can call me off the air and we can talk about it and see if it makes sense for you to be on the air as an instructor for tinctures. And my home phone number is 417-462-1105. 417-462-1105. And if you call and no one answers, because there's no one able to answer, and we do not have an answering machine. So when we do answer, you'll be talking to one of us here at the farmhouse, and we'll be glad to talk to you about tinctures. And I'm looking forward to doing some broadcasting about that. I heard about some of these tinctures for irregular heartbeat and so forth, and I made a tincture, and it absolutely positively worked, in my opinion. This was many, many years ago when I was prescribed compounds by the pharmaca mafia, and it really messed me up. And so I used this tincture that I made, and it got me off all of those prescriptions, and it's a great thing. And by the way, I think you said my heart's okay, isn't it?
Well, you've got the least amount of calcium for someone your vintage that I know.
Of my vintage.
Mature.
Well, that's great, Dr. Shealy. There was something else that I wanted to chat with you about, and that was, we talked about a chordotomy, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
In a couple minutes, can we do it quickly? I mean, just what it is?
Until sometime in the mid or late 60s, neurosurgeons would often cut the front half of the spinal cord to treat chronic pain. Now, in my opinion, if you're going to die of cancer within 6 months, it's a good thing maybe to consider. If you're going to live any length of time beyond 6 months, I think it is the most barbarian procedure I've ever seen in my life. They take a piece of an old 1/8 razor blade, measure the width of your spinal cord, measure it half across, stick it in the front half of the spinal cord, and cut. I mean, it is unbelievably crude, barbarian, unacceptable, and it fails long-term in 92% of people. But other than that, coming close to killing you, it's not too bad.
And paralysis, Dr. Shealy?
10% of all patients. 10% paralysis of bowel and bladder, 10% a new pain worse than anything they ever had before, and 100% never again having an orgasm.
So, modern medicine of years ago might not have been quite so modern, right?
And if that didn't work, they did a lobotomy.
And a lobotomy is?
To destroy your frontal lobe so you don't think at all.
Yeah. Isn't that what happened to one of the Kennedy daughters?
I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah.
But it used to be used quite frequently for all kinds of mental, emotional things as well as pain.
Dr. Shealy, we're out of time. Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for being with us. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next?
By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi there. Are you an unhappy timeshare owner? Have you ever asked yourself, how can I get rid of my timeshare? Does your story go something like Stacy's story goes? Here's Stacy now.
My husband and I went and visited a resort, and they kind of attacked us, and they kept sending more and more people until we finally said yes, and we bought this timeshare, and then we were stuck in this timeshare that we couldn't get rid of, and we tried all different ways. They made it seem like it was this really great deal, and when we said no originally, then they brought the price down, and then when we still said no, they brought in the manager, and they brought the price down even lower, and they started breaking out in different ways to make it look like it was this really awesome deal. The reality was it wasn't an awesome deal at all.
To cancel your timeshare contract, call ACC today. It's an attorney-based program with a free consultation. The first 20 callers get a 20% discount. Call now, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948. Call today, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948.